I get to pop in and be like, hey guys, yeah, looks good, okay, bye. It's easy to tell someone like fight back. When you're a contractor like me and you work freelance, that's not always an option. The gaming industry is very, very, very tight-knit, right? Like, you know, I might get emotional for this, so.
Hello, hello, and hello. Welcome, you beautiful people, to the show that explores the stories and topics of being professional in esports. We're on a quest for tips and insights on how some people turn their passion into more than just a hobby. I'm your host, Drekken, and you may or may not know my next guest, but you certainly know her work. She has made some of our favorite talent in esports look fabulous across various titles: StarCraft 2, Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, and of course, Overwatch. She's one half of the most prolific makeup company in esports. Please welcome my next guest, Rosa Menendez.
Hello.
Hello, Rosa. Oh, I am so excited for our chat today. How are you?
I'm good. I you know, living the quarantine life, basically just like in this square. That is my desk. This is where I'm at all times.
I feel like that's what a lot of us are doing. You know, and I think it's one thing that would help keep sane, and our audience need to hear off camera, but watching an episode or two of the original Power Rangers.
We were totally talking. Okay, so I looked it up while we were like waiting to while we were counting it. I'm like, who played Rita? You're absolutely right. The first Rita was the Japanese Rita, but then it switched over to Carla Perez.
Uh-huh.
And I had gotten the opportunity to meet Carla Perez and the original voice actress for Rita Repulsa, which is Susan Goodson. I forget her last. I literally just looked at it and I already forgot it. But yeah, I like had this fangirl moment with her, right? And I was like, I just wanted to be you growing up. I just wanted to be Rita Repulsa. Why does everybody want to be a Power Ranger? It's lame. Like it was a whole moment.
It almost encapsulates your personality, and we're about to get into that. So just for you guys in the audience and girls and guys who don't know what happened, we were talking about Power Rangers and the original Rita Repulsa, North American, Japanese, and now we know. But Rosa here is one of the most prolific esports artists, makeup artists, hairstylists in the biz. And she is one half alongside Lorena.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have done basically, I would like to say, majority of the makeup for North American esports talent since 2015, right?
13.
Since
2013.
You know, and so you have gone from movies to esports. And why don't we dial it back and start from just the beginning, all right?
Ooh.
We'll go start from the beginning. And you're in LA currently, and you grew up in LA. Where you grew up in LA?
Mm-hmm. Born and raised South Central LA. I'm still here. I'm in South Central right now. Born and raised South Central. Like I grew up in a very poor family. Like having a gaming console was a big deal, and I only had one game, and that was it. And I only played that one game over and over and over again. But yeah, it was so tricky because when you're from the hood, when you're from a poor family, and you're aspiring to be in the entertainment industry, and you don't know anybody, and you have no connections, like that hustle is so incredibly difficult. And I, to this day, like even just hearing you intro who I am, I'm just like, huh? Prolific? No, I'm not. What? That's not who I am. It's very surreal and severe imposter syndrome at that.
I imagine. So you though had lived in the middle between two rival gangs, and so how did that really influence your decision to get into makeup artistry?
I don't really know if I had much of a choice in that. Honestly, it was my brother who was involved, who did do so much of quote unquote the street thug life. So when we say thug life in my family, it's not a cat knocking over a glass after owner said no. It's something completely different. Like, there was a protocol to hide the weapons in my household. Like, cops are coming to the house because of a noise complaint. Move everything. Like, there was a legitimate, like, routine. It was
like
insane.
a code red, like a
yeah,
like a legit
we
code red.
really did. And I was too close to it. I was so close to it. I saw it firsthand. I've seen so much violence growing up that I didn't want any part of it. My brother certainly didn't want me to have any part of that life. Like, he wasn't doing it so that, like, it became his legacy. He was doing it because it was a way to make money to try to help us get out of that situation.
It was survival, right? It was survival. Yeah.
And, like, to me, I'm like, my cousins, like, are all former gang members. Like, who I consider family are all, like, Crips. And that is the immediate neighborhood that we live in. It's a Crip neighborhood. And I went to high school in a Blood neighborhood, and that was fucking terrifying every goddamn day that I went there. Excuse my language.
No,
but when it comes to, like, gang life, like, it's the verbiage kind of goes that way. But it was, again, it wasn't so much my choice as much as it was my brother being my father figure and going, no, this is not where you're gonna go. And so
you have two siblings, right? You have a brother and a sister. And your sister?
Three.
Oh, okay.
I have an older brother. I have an older sister and a half younger brother.
Okay.
But I grew up with my older brother and sister.
Right. And your older brother was in a gang, and your older sister, she worked at a library? Was it?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Talk about, like, polar opposites, right? Yeah. So my sister volunteered and worked at the Los Angeles Public Library. She's actually finally woke up and realized, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing my whole life. So she's finishing up her master's degree in librarian studies right now. But yeah, I grew up in a library, so I have this, like, you know that I think it's Starburst that does it, or is it Skittles? The walking contradiction.
Yeah.
Where it's like the guy's like, oh, we're Korean Scottish, we're a walking contradiction ourselves. that's my life growing up. It's like gang violence and library.
Walking contradiction.
Video games, like, it became the middle ground.
So actually, I'd be curious to know. Tell me about your first Halo 3 tournament.
Ooh. Okay, so calling it a tournament is hilarious because hardly, especially not in the world that we know now. Like, especially, like, after years of working in esports, it was not a tournament. It was like.
So we're talking about grassroots level, like.
I want a gift card. It was pretty dope. Okay, so this controller here is actually an homage to, like, the old controller I used to use. So I used to rock the old pink 360 controller because nobody took me seriously. I was a girl. I was a girl in South Central, no less, that was playing video games. And I worked at this store called Games Crazy. And for those of you that don't know, and this is really aging me right now, is that Hollywood Video, which was Blockbuster's rival, had a store called Game Crazy, and it was a lot like GameStop. And I was an assistant manager there. And I would come in, and nobody would want me to help them. They'd be like, oh, you're just a girl, whatever. Like, what do you fucking know about this? I'm like, bro, 1v1 me real quick. Like, legit, but I would legit be like, 1v1 me real quick. They're like, all right, fine, you pick the game. So I'd go with something really dumb. I'd be like, okay, let's play Guitar Hero.
Did you play it up, or you just like, oh, we can just play Guitar Hero?
Oh, no, I totally played up the, like, girl, like, oh my God, I totally love this one song, and then I'd play something really dumb, like, some music that I didn't even like. I made sure that it was poppy. And, I'd play, then I'd win because I played way too much Guitar Hero. And they'd be like, you know what, you get to pick the next game. Because I knew one or two games. There was always one or two games that would get chosen. Call of Duty or Madden. Ooh. And I'm garbage at both. Complete garbage at both. So then, they choose one of the two games, and I'd be like, oh my God, you're so good. Can I pick the next one? Yeah, sure. Halo 3. Pop it in. I have my Halo 3 shotgun tattooed on my arm. And that's because you don't want to come within range of me and the shotgun.
Ooh.
Like, period. Well, back in the day, I tried playing it again, and I'm such garbage.
How are you with the BR? How are you with the BR?
I love battle rifle, but I'm I'm such a basic like assault rifle. I love my assault rifle all day.
Okay.
And like, I get it. The BR has a scope. You can go in, it has that first shot a little bit, or you can like slightly adjust so that you're doing one at a time. But I liked my assault rifle and I liked my shotgun like nobody's business. If I had a pistol shotgun, that's my life. And I was totally like, I was the sneaky player in Halo. You know how you're always like, I could have sworn there was that one bright red colored Spartan running around. I was that bright pink
You're that one
running around, and you're like, where did they go? And then it's like, bah, it just like keep running.
If you had put money on it, I would have called it. You'd have hustled that person, whoever that was. That would be a straight up hustle. That was like a straight up hustle. If there was like money at the end of it,
every time. But yeah, so the guy'd be like, all right, cool, and we'd play Halo. Then I'd kick his ass and be like, and I was like, so how can I help you today? What were you looking for? Not work, right? So we started holding little tournaments at GameStop, and then you'd win like a gift card, you'd win like free rentals next door. They're really, really, really basic, really, really small. And two of the guys just kept talking shit to each other, and I was just like laughing. So I'm like, I'm an employee, so I couldn't win, or I couldn't participate. And then one of my employees got so fed up with this one guy. He's like, Rosa, you need to get in there. And my gaming handle is Susie Homewrecker. So my employees would call me like Homewrecker. They'd be like, you need to get in there. And I'm like, I'm okay. They're like, no, you like seriously, this guy's an asshole. You need to get in there. I was like, all right, fine. So I played through because he's like, well, I mean, you're not just gonna beat me. Like, you have to make sure you kick everyone else's ass first. I was like, done. So we literally set up like a tournament style thing where we had to go through and like, place. We had to place in order to like kick this guy's ass or even have a chance. He didn't stand a chance. Like, not to toot my own horn here. He didn't have a chance.
Right.
And he looked at me. He was just like, wow. I was like, uh-huh. Can you stop being a douchebag in my store now? I'd really appreciate it. He's like, you should be like, we actually hold LAN tournaments like at this other place. You should come check it out. So I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, dude. And I took down his number and I was like, sure. And my employee's like, dude, I'm actually gonna go. Like, this is real. He's not like being creepy. Like, this actually exists. You should come with me. So I went in like a skirt, like a low cut shirt, and had a purse. I played up the whole fact that I was a girl in this situation, and then like I was like, all right, fine. Like, I'm gonna compete. This is weird. It's a $50 gift card to Best Buy, whatever. And then I dump my purse out, and out comes tumbling my controller. I was like, oh, sorry guys. I was just like, like dust makeup off of it. Made sure like a tampon would fall out, like a lip gloss would fall out. I did my best to like ham up the fact that it's like, you're gonna judge me for being a girl, so I'm gonna show you that the prissy, high maintenance, like girly girl is totally gonna kick your ass now. And like when I won, I got up and I totally forgot that I had on this whole act. I was like, oh son, now what? And I was like, oh, guys, oh my god, I totally won. I just like my gift card to like run out. And my police like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know.
That is hustle in the truest sense of the word. Like hustle in the truest sense of the word.
I did it with Magic too. It was so bad. I did it with Magic because it's like it was the same situation. Like I started getting into Magic, and it was me and my ex together that were really getting into it. And I played a black-white deck, so I would like nuke the board and then revive, and then nuke the board and then revive. So I'm constantly like putting you in a loop. And I was really new to it, but I figured this out, and I was like, oh, this is genius. And like the first shop that we went to like, just kind of do like play around, like play with everybody. Some guy was being like a misogynistic a-hole. So I was like, I'm gonna come back with my Halo 3 costume. And I came back like all super girly. I didn't have my cards and sleeves. They were all loose in my purse. And then I dump them out. They'd be like, what? And I'm like, I think I just went because I put you in an infinite loop. So that means you either have to draw out or you concede now.
That is something I love it. I totally love it. It's like idea. It's just like undercover gamer, right? Because I'm sure you've had that happen throughout, this idea that women shouldn't be in this place because it's a male dominated space, right? And has that how have you tackled that even in like a professional level?
So A couple of years ago, this is before Me Too happened in Hollywood. It's certainly before Me Too happened in esports and in gaming. But we had just finished working at a fighting game event. I'm gonna make sure that the details of this story are as
vague as possible.
Vague as possible. But we just finished a fighting event, and we're all at the studio, and we're kind of having like a congratulatory like barbecue type thing. And one of the people that was running the show was like, isn't it great that we have multiple gay guys that are working or that competed in this tournament. We have so many people of color in this tournament. And did we try milking that? No, because we don't have to, because that's what the FGC is like, and this is not. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's like, that's dope. Sure. Like, we all know in gaming that the FGC by far is the most diverse in any community, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's dope. Like, this is what makes FGC beautiful. I was like, my question is that why aren't women accepted yet? And the words out of this person's mouth were, because gaming is our club. Oof. You guys can't have this too. And I was like, and I just kind of like, it was one of those moments where there are three Rosas, actually. There's the professional Rosa. There's Hood Rosa, which is also friend Rosa. So like when you know me very intimately, that's like the same person. And then there's Mom Rosa. Hood Rosa was coming out real fast, and I had to like kind of
It's like, hold my earrings. Hold up.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I don't think you realize who you're talking to. And I just kind of got my hot dog, took a bite of it, and like walked away. Like it was one of those like, you're at work, Rosa, go be work, Rosa. So I was like, not even enjoying my hot dog anymore. Like it was a moment. But there's so many things like that. And it's easy to tell people speak up. It's easy to tell someone like fight back. When you're a contractor like me and you work freelance, that's not always an option, unfortunately. And it sucks. There are so many times I want to open my mouth and just be like, screw you, dude. How dare you, you entitled a-hole. To both men and women. Yeah, everyone does this because it's a matter of race, it's a matter of gender, it's a matter of where you're from. PC master race is also a term that is very it's spicy to say these days because you're being inconsiderate of the people that couldn't afford to be a part of that master race. So there's so many levels of this where it's like, as much as you want to open your mouth and be like, screw you, you can't always do it. I'm very, very, very lucky. I'm surrounded by the talent. I'm surrounded by, on-camera talent. I don't have to deal with this amount of crazy like other people do behind the scenes, that work in production or in the line of production, right? I get to pop in and be like, hey guys, yeah, looks good. Okay, bye. And I hang out with the talent. The talent are my friends. That's what my circle is. Right. And they know who I am and they respect who I am as a person, not only as their makeup artist or as a professional in the gaming industry, but who I am in my past, who I am now, and hopefully who I'll evolve into alongside them as my friends. And the gaming industry is very, very, very tight knit, right? Like you've seen me at so many events where it's like,
yep,
there's the bubble of like the quote unquote, I don't like saying it, the quote unquote elite that hang out together, right? Or the veterans, and then those veterans have a very close circle because it's hard to invite new people in and then you hear something like that. Yes. Or because someone has said something that may have been racist, sexist, inappropriate any which way or form, you don't invite them into the circle as quickly or as easily. And that's kind of how I end up living in the world. I live this middle ground of, oh, you said something? Okay, well, I'm going to keep my mouth shut until somebody asks me what you're like because I had to work with you once.
Right.
And it's that one time that kills it.
Had you ever had to give up a gig or change your mind about a gig because of something like that? Like you might be working with somebody who you've worked with before and you're like, no.
I've heavily considered not working jobs because of people that were a part of it. But then at the end of the day, like I'm a mom and I got bills to pay and I got a responsibility. So I have to remind myself like, hey, Rosa, you're a damn professional.
Right.
You can go in there and you can put on the face of, hi, and then just walk right past them. And you don't even have to acknowledge them. And then again, the beautiful thing is that esports is such a small bubble and such a small world that I'm likely going to be working with a friend on that show. And if I'm working with a friend on that show, I know that I can trust them to say, hey, I'm not comfortable around this person.
Yes.
Can we do the buddy system when we have to move around, you know?
Right.
And also because I'm doing makeup on the talent and that's who my job surrounds, I normally end up in the areas that are talent only. So I get to kind of distance myself from anyone that might not be cool to be around. I'm like trying to watch my language so hard. I'm like, don't call them an asshole. You know, but that's generally the vibe of it. It's one of those. At the end of the day, you have to be professional. At the end of the day, you have to realize, am I really going to let this person get in the way of me doing my job? No, they are not worth me turning down a job and not having an experience or not, you know, getting paid because they're there.
And you bring up a really good point because like esports is there is like a network effect that anybody who is, if you're even a talent, if you do sort of the wrong thing, it could spread towards blacklisting you from a lot of gigs. So I can 100% resonate how that could come to be, right? It's just if there's something you gotta just be careful of because they could spiral out. And because we're gig based in many ways, right? So
yeah, I mean, so much of it is freelance, and that's when people ask me like, oh, what would your advice be to someone that's starting off? My advice is always be cool, man. Be cool. And be cool has different levels. Be cool is like, yo, chill. We get it. We know that's testosis. Relax. Breathe. You'll be okay. The amount of people I have asked me, can you introduce me to testosis is astronomical.
I think a lot of people forget that they're also people too, right?
They're humans. Some of my favorite humans, but they're
oh yeah, I know. But I think a lot of times too is like you just want to be cool. Like if you're around them and you're like, you know, so we've hung out like at Blizzcon and all that stuff and like, with them, and they're really cool people to hang out with. And just, like you just remember they're people. For anybody if you run into testosis, just remember they're people. Just you know, say hi or whatever.
Love your work, and they'd be like, oh hey, what's up? What's your name, man? Like they're so
really cool.
Like meet their fans and meet the community. But so be cool. Number one is chill. They're just people. Be cool. Number two is don't say anything stupid, and by that I mean don't be racist. Don't sexually harass anyone. You know, acknowledge in today's world where you know we all are abiding by different pronouns, and non-binary is a thing. Like this is real, folks. Like abide by pronouns. Like just be cool. Yeah. That will get you so much further than being knowledgeable these days. Like I will hire an assistant in a heartbeat. That's just like, yeah, man, everything's kosher. I'd be like, dope, you're hired. Like, as opposed to the diva. But that's kind of always been the way that makeup artists do things, even in traditional entertainment. It's always been be personable, be respectful, and just don't be a diva. And that will get you so much further than anything else in your career. So I'm gonna kind of transition that over to esports. Be cool. Everyone's just human. Be cool. Just be chill and like, you know, don't say anything hateful or mean, and you'll get so much further.
This could actually be a rule for everything in life. I just want everyone, if you hear this and you think this is just an esports thing, just apply this to everything and you should be fine. Absolutely.
You go to the grocery market, just be cool, man.
So thinking about this idea of the career path, you were herpetologist first, or you studied to be.
No,
sorry.
I wanted to be a herpetologist.
Or you wanted to be.
Because Steve Irwin is sitting on my desk right now. Yeah, that's a story that comes with a lot of pain. There's a lot of things that happened there that just kind of stirred my path in a different direction, which I ended up thinking was for the better. But I wanted to be a herpetologist. I love animals. I have a pet snake right now that I just got as an early birthday present to myself. She's I love her so much. She's so cute. She's like all black and she's like all shimmering. Anyways, I digress. I wanted to be a herpetologist. I love animals. I love reptiles specifically. And I went to a school called North Hollywood High School, and there was a zoo magnet. So not all of my classes, but out of my 6 classes, 4 of them were at the LA Zoo. And it was everything I wanted, right? A lot of bullying happened there. A lot of my friends had passed away. I faced a lot of, cliche edge lord alt girl struggles when I was in high school, and it was rough. And I left the school, and I ended up doing homeschooling or independent studies, which basically means you go to a school once a week, you pick up homework, you take your test, and you go back home. And I would just watch movies all the time. So it's like I have a lot of like the Universal monsters tattooed on me, all up this arm. And I would watch these movies, and I would keep saying in the end credits, makeup artist. And like when you're watching Marilyn Monroe movies, like these women, like in that era, like the 30s through the 50s, ooh, this is like
gorgeous.
The men, the women, it was like this new world. I'm watching apex human beings, right? Like Tony Curtis, Marilyn Monroe, like Ginger Rogers, like Fred Astaire, all these classics just blew my mind away. And I would sit there and I'd be like, these aren't normal people. Like I don't know any woman that looks like this. Like what? But something kept popping up in the end credits, and that was makeup artist. And it's Jack Pierce, makeup artist, Max Factor. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I know you're trying to send me a message, world. And like I'd get up, make myself a cup of coffee, come back, and I would always come back right when it said makeup artist. And I was like, started researching. Oh, Jack Pierce is the makeup artist that created, Frankenstein's monster, and he did it completely from the face up using cotton balls and latex and tissue and just like using chicken wire for Bride of Frankenstein's hair, like all these weird innovative ways of like creating something. And that was the thing that got me, was creating something, was wanting to recreate this feeling that Marilyn Monroe gave us of this otherworldly goddess, this Aphrodite, but for anybody. Why can't we all be Monroe? Why can't we all be Fred Astaire? Why can't we all be Tony Curtis? And I used to watch a lot of the Mexican versions of these movies. So one thing about like all the Universal classic horror films is that they'd make the set, and then at night when the crew would go home from the American Frankenstein, the Mexican crew would come in and redo the film in Spanish with the same exact set. So you can watch Dracula as the Mexican Dracula. And Mexican Dracula, let me tell you, is just so much sexier than like original, like the American Dracula. Like you watch it, you're like, oh, we did it. Okay. Hi. But it's like all these worlds combined just made me realize this is what I want to do. I wanted to do the special effects and the beauty. I wanted both to see this like horrific fantasy world combined with this classic beauty, and that's what just went from herpetology right into makeup, and my world completely changed at that point.
And I love how that story is like you're waiting. You got all these signs, because I think a lot of things too is I think, especially even on this purpose of the show, a lot of times I think people are looking for a sign of what they should be doing. What should I be doing? Where should I be going? What's like my purpose, right? Did you find it was like that looking forward, or does that look like that looking backwards?
It looks like that looking backwards. Like, retrospect is 2020, right? Like looking back at it, I'm like, yeah, you idiot. Of course you were duh. But like then at the moment I was just like, oh, that's cool. Moving on. Like, it still hadn't quite registered. And there was a point where, I had my son at a young age. I was pregnant at 17. I had him at 18. Literally a month after I turned 18, my son was born. So I also come from a very different, or a unique perspective within esports. Esports is still so young, right? I say young, even though all of us are now like late 20s and 30s, but esports is still so young. Gaming is still so young. And only now is everyone starting to get married and have kids. And I'm like, been there, done that. Let me know when you're back at the partying phase in the next 10 years, because, I'll still be there. But that's what made my particular journey a little bit trickier than most. I already had a son.
Yeah.
I had to work, or I had to sacrifice knowing that I was only going to get paid $50 a day sometimes. And I had built up my reputation. I had built up my network so that I was starting to get paid a little bit more. Like or a lot more. By the time that I transitioned into esports, I was making like easily $700 a day, like $1,200 depending on the show.
Wow.
And then it was the same thing where it's like, I have this full momentum going this way. And then, nope, I just totally ventured off. And that was into esports when I first started doing work with ESL. I was getting paid like $150 a day to cover like 3 different shows.
The esports money.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think when you say $700 a day, I thought you were talking about esports money. I was like,
no.
$700. I was like, girl, esports $700 a day? Sign me up. I'm changing.
That's cute. My rate is getting close to that these days. But back in the day, hell no.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about the early esports days, $700 a day. I was like, girl, get me in.
We're always hiring. But so I had to make that sacrifice. Again, I felt like I was starting over. And I understood that. But when I found esports, when I first worked at BlizzCon, I was hooked. I've been a gamer my whole life. I've been a nerd my whole life. And stepping foot on that BlizzCon floor for the first time in 2013, as a makeup artist, as a professional, that was the moment of, this is it. This, I cannot let this go. I'm going to dig my claws into it, and I'm going to fight tooth and nail for every damn day that I possibly can in this world. And even if you were to tell Rosa then where I'm at now, she'd be like, no, that's not likely. That was probably this is probably a one and done. I would have never imagined in a million years that I would be where I'm at now. Not that where I feel like where I'm at now is that much further. Like there's still
no one feels like that though. No one feels like that.
And if you're to tell Rosa then, or Rosa before then, about Rosa at that moment, she'd laugh and be like, I will never have the opportunity to work in gaming unless it's some like LA noir face cap, and they're face capping the like makeup as well. That's my only chance in hell. Like, or oh god, what was the name of that game? They hired Jenny McCarthy. They did the live action cutscenes. Red something. It's escaping me. Oh my god, what game was that? I'm totally like spacing on it. But it was like,
is that a recent game? Old game?
No, this is super old. Oh god, this is gonna kill me. I'm gonna have to Google it later.
We'll put it in the post credits.
Yeah.
So wait, one thing I do want to know is that you had a kid when you just hit 18. A lot of people, that would be a dream killer. A lot of people that would be like, you know what, I have to give up on what I want, and I'm going to go now work at a factory because that's what is assured to me. But you kept on going. So I'd like to know, where did you find this strength to keep on the path that you were going, even though like esports and even makeup artisting probably, I imagine, is very competitive, but also, what's the word? Up and down. It's very much turbulent.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Jobs come, gigs come. There's no security. Like gigs come, gigs go. And so, what was the thought? Like, how did you wrestle with keeping the path versus you just had a kid now, you're 18, you're younger. I'm sure somebody might have said something differently, like maybe you should not do this, maybe you should work with someone. Like, what was that discussion in your head like?
Like, I might get emotional for this, so like,
please,
ahead of time. I can't be another stereotype. Those were the words that I said a lot. I cannot be another stereotype. I cannot be another Latina from the hood that got knocked up and did nothing with her life.
Yeah.
I cannot have this little boy and not prove to him that you can be so much more no matter what. And that's what I do every day. Every day is, Remy, we're more than this. When during quarantine, for example, it essentially killed my business. Like, I'm not working. I think I've worked a total of 8 days since April.
Yeah.
5 of those days were thanks to Monte Cristo. God damn it, thank you, man. Like, he got me hired on a job, and my heart to him. But I had no money, and he has this guitar. He had like a Fender guitar that was like for kids. He's 14 years old. Like that don't work for him anymore. He's like playing like this, and just like he comes up to me and he's like really quiet about it. He's like, "Hey mom, do you think for like an early birthday present you can get me a guitar like this one?" And he looked up like a really cheap guitar on Amazon. Like it was like $150 or something like that. Like it was super cheap. And he was like, I know you're not working right now. And he was like so like quiet about and like shy about asking for it. And I had just gotten like my tax return. Like I had just gotten a check. And I just kind of looked at him and I was like, put on his shoes, grab a mask, we're going to Guitar Center. Like, you're not playing on a $150 guitar that's crap from Amazon. No offense, Amazon, I buy everything from there anyways, but not the guitar. Not today. Mm-hmm. And like I took him to Guitar Center. We got him like this dope ass Epiphone Casino, which is what John Lennon used to play. And John Lennon's like this kid's fucking idol. And then like came home and granted a bill got paid late, but my son had his damn guitar. And that's what it is. That's what it is. It's waking up every day going, I can't be a stereotype. Waking up every day going, he has to have something more than I did when I was a kid. How are we going to say we want we want something more for our youth and for our kids if I'm not sitting here fighting every damn day to do that for mine? And I try to do this as well for my nieces. Like, if my brother can't come through, like I'm the one, which is rare. My brother is such a phenomenal father. He's such an amazing father figure to me. And now he's like this epic dad to them. I need to step up. It takes a village. It really does take a village to raise a family and to raise these kids. And fortunately, my village was my siblings and my mom and my ex. Like no matter what, despite everything that's happened between him and I, he has been like the most incredible father figure and the most incredible father to our son. And like they're off grabbing lunch for all of us right now. Like, they're doing their boys thing right now. So that's what it was. It was I can't do that. And it's hard. It's not even
so hard.
Remotely easy. I'm not gonna sit here and like be like, yep, I waved this lipstick around and I got it. And it's like no. It's still not easy, No. Everyone's like, Rosa, you're the makeup artist. I'm like, yeah, I'm the makeup artist right now. Do you know how many makeup artists are moving into my turf right now? And I'm sitting here, oh God, oh, okay, what do I do to keep my spot? How do I secure being esports makeup? Because there's gonna be a point where
it's a war.
It's damn war right now. Like esports is so mainstream, and it's only a matter of time before it gets unionized. It's only a matter of time before union makeup artists start swooping in.
Oh,
there's so many makeup artists that are not esports, that don't care about what the industry is, and to them it's a check. No, I'm not saying that you don't have your right to like make that money and like work. Hey girl or boy or man, whoever, whatever pronoun you want to use, do it. I support that. But it's really care, and that's another tip that I've been giving people is, look, it's a new industry. It's really niche, right? It's really small to you in the grand scheme of entertainment, but be respectful. Be respectful of this industry and these people who have been working their butts off since the early 2000s to make this what it is now, for it to be where it's at now. So when you come into a show and you're like, oh my God, that's so cute. No, don't, oh my God, that's so cute, my industry. You can F right off with that. And we've heard this. We've heard this time and time again. We're like, oh my God, it's so adorable. So they like go up there and play. Yes, they go up there and play. And they make more money than you will ever dream of, sweetheart. Today alone. Trust me, I've seen them. And it pisses me off because I've been here longer than them and they're still making more money than I will ever see. So treat the industry with respect.
Yeah.
Show some love for it.
I have to say, I have a huge respect. Like that, the idea of not being another stereotype really resonates with me personally on a fundamental level because, I definitely had that growing up from my perspective, young black male, most people would just assume that was my was either prison or probably dead. Those might have been those options based on just age and area that I lived in. So I resonate with that. So thank you so much for sharing that part.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
There's a lyric from Hamilton. This sounds so funny to like associate the two, but like the musical Hamilton, right? Where he's rapping about, he's like, I never thought I'd get past 20, where I come from, some get half as many. And that line resonates so much with me. Like it hits me, because the amount of people that I can tell you that I know firsthand that I called friends that didn't make it, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
ridiculous. I know.
Hearing helicopters in the middle of the night, hearing a gunshot, and then just going, God, please not my family.
Not my house.
Yeah. Please not my house. Please not my people.
Oh man.
That's another one, like, from going back to like music and it relating, is like Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day. No one I know got shot in South Central today. Today was a good day. That was another lyric that to me was my life, all my childhood and my teenage years. Like that's what it was. It was, nobody got shot today. Whew, thank God. Thanks somebody. I don't care who you want to thank, but thank you. And thinking about my brother being out in the middle of the night because he was up to his shenanigans. Like, God, my brother's still out there. Please, somebody protect him. Please, somebody look out for him. Please, somebody have his back.
Yeah.
Please just be at the homie's house drinking today. Please don't be out doing something. Like it was a lot. So a big part of pushing through was, don't be another statistic. Don't be another stereotype. Show that you can be so much more than that girl from South Central. Breaking
through those barriers that we're that we're trapped in. We're born in, right? We're born in, and it's up to us to kind of fight through them.
Yeah.
So here's esports, love it or hate it, notorious for free work, and I'm sure you had to do your share of free work, and so there's obviously this put in your lumps. But can you tell me about how you made that transition from free to getting paid?
Let's see. So I was very lucky where I started off getting paid.
Okay.
So I come from a very different boat. Like I started, my first job in esports ever was Blizzcon. So I started off getting paid. The trick was trying to keep that rate that Blizzard was willing to pay me, but nobody else was willing to pay me. Which also was like impossible. So my first BlizzCon, I think I made like $400 a day. And I was like, okay, this isn't a terrible step down from $700 a day. That's not a bad leap for me starting over and like wanting to do this. And then going to work for another studio and only getting paid $150 a day for the 3 shows. And at that, it was, I loved esports so much, and this is what I wanted to do so badly, that once I was done doing makeup, or if I was waiting for talent to come back from rehearsals, I would go to where the audience was at and I would help set up the chairs. I would zip tie chairs together. I would help organize things. I'd hold ladders for that lighting can get up and like fix things. I would walk around the studio and be like, how can I help? What can I do?
Right.
And then now I'm the elitist asshole that's like, I'm the makeup artist. I don't touch that.
Like, sorry.
Yeah, no. Less time than I did then. But it was a lot of, okay, well, I'm not getting paid as comfortably as I used to get paid at this other show or before as a makeup artist. So it goes back to like, you pay your dues, right? Everybody likes to say that, pay your dues. You pay your dues. And for me, that was, okay, well then I'm gonna hustle my butt off and I'm gonna show that I'm that person you want on your team.
Yeah.
And every couple of months I'd be like, hey, so my rate went up. And I would just be like, so an additional $50, an additional something, an additional that. And I need my kit fee. I need you to reimburse like my actual, little things like that. I would slowly just be like, oh, actually, that much more. So I
would stay at that rate too. They wouldn't go back down or anything. It would stay.
Hey, right. This is officially where I'm at now.
Okay, gradual.
Yeah, it was gradual. It took a lot of time to go from 150 to like making the standard 250 at this place. Like that took a lot of work and a lot of time. And then I kind of pushed him to 300. And then I kind of pushed him to 350. And then that's kind of where they're like, all right,
we're kind of
young lady, we see what you're doing. And I also stopped working with that company. So it was just like, gonna go over here now where I'm getting paid 500. Bye. And then they're like, oh no, that was just for this one job. We're back to like 350. And I'm like, God damn it. There's no winning. So you kind of have to do the math, so to speak. You have to sit there and be like, what do I want? How much do I want to get paid? Start there. What do I want to get paid? If I were to break this down hourly, how much do I want to make an hour? So for me, I was like, I don't want to make below $20 an hour. So I would go, okay, how much does it cost me to get up to Burbank? Because back in the day, everything was happening in Burbank, right? How much does it cost me to go from home to Burbank and Burbank to home? Okay, it cost me approximately $18 in gas. Okay, how much is my kit worth a day? Okay, that's $50. Okay, I need to make sure that my rate incorporates that 50 and that $18. Put that to the side and then go, how does the rest add up to those $20 an hour that I want? Okay, now am I starting or am I experienced? Am I entry level, am I intermediate, or am I an expert in my field?
Right.
Okay, let's tack on another $5 for each level, right? So entry level would be like,
it's like a skill tree. Yeah, exactly. It's like building a Skyrim character or something.
Yeah. All right. So your D&D rogue, right?
You're right. Okay.
These are the specs that you want. Oh, you have my charisma? Cool. Give yourself another $1 an hour. and that would be how I would say break it down.
Right.
What is your worth? Are you entry level? Are you intermediate? Or are you an expert in your field? Okay, then there's a point where you're going to have to say, no, I'm not going to work for less than this. And trust me, more times than not, they're going to go, well, crap. Okay, let's see how we can work the budget out. Because if you're an expert in your field and they want you,
they're coming for you.
They're coming for you. They're going, we were really hoping that we can get this mofo at like half that price, but they clearly know who they are and what they're worth. So, okay. When you're at entry level, I'm sorry to say, my dudes, you're gonna have to kind of bite the bullet a few times, build up those relationships and build up that network. But it goes back to be cool. If you're that super cool PA that everybody loved and was hustling and getting everybody water bottles and making sure that the cables weren't loose and doing the things on the production, when it comes to promoting someone, and you had already talked to a few people and go, oh yeah, I'm really interested in technical directing, and that TD needs an assistant, who do you think they're going to call? The PA that's been hustling, or some random dude that just applied for the job? Esports likes to internally.
I noticed that a lot. That esports is very good for all its faults and its benefits, but esports is really good at cross moving people between projects. Like today, you did water bottles, and tomorrow you could be like on the stream in the main room, depending on your skill set. Like it's not impossible in one show, depending on the show.
Yeah, easily on one show. Like season 1 Overwatch League, that's when I worked with Al. There's these two PAs, man. They're amazing. I love these guys so much. They're both stage managers now.
Believe it.
Yep, camera B, camera A, okay, cut out. And I'd be like, but they were hustling. And not only that, but they requested to shadow people. And that's another thing that I don't think is talked about enough. How badly do you want this? Because I know I live and breathe for my career. I love what I do so damn much. And if somebody was like, hey, Rosa, what are you doing today? I'd be like, playing some Hearthstone. Not gonna be doing much. And they're like, hey, I got this job. Even if it is like a quick 150. Hey, you're only going to be doing makeup for me. It's just like my content thing. Yeah, come on, let's go. And I'd grab my bag and I'd go do their makeup because this is what I love to do.
Yeah.
This is what I genuinely love to do. And a lot of times, like, the talent will call me and be like, I'm paying out of pocket. And I'm like, I don't care. Whatever you're comfortable with, I got you. I know your face at the back of my damn hand anyways. And I'll do the job. So you never really do stop working for free or doing those little paid gigs. You will always do them. The difference is that you're doing it because you love it, and you're doing it because you love the person that you're working with.
Right.
As opposed to like, a production being like, hey, no. If a studio were to call me and be like, Rosa 150, I would be like, no. 300. We're gonna double that because that's my minimum. Cool thing. Look, now we can go.
Did you have to learn to have those kind of hard conversations, especially with like executives? Like, how did I think especially freelancers, esports people out there that are, I think we have a really hard time pinning our worth. And then when we meet up with an executive or someone who is coming and approaching to us, they come in strong. And I'm going to be careful how I word this, but especially as a woman and a person of color, like I feel like there is a level which certain people feel like they can have the upper hand and advantage. And so from you, how did you navigate that? How did you someone comes in and, for the credit, like people do it, like not just esports, all over the world in all sorts of industries. It's everywhere. So don't, people, if you're listening, don't demonize esports. People do it everywhere where they come in and they do negotiation and they look at you and size you up and they're like, $100.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And as someone that has done makeup in just about every industry, it's everywhere. Everywhere. Oh, God. No one took me seriously, like, in traditional entertainment industry, because I'd come in and I'd have, like, a super nerdy shirt and have the, like, bright hair, right? And, I got piercings here and there and tattoos. And they're like, oh, she's not professional. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Because I don't look like the quote-unquote Mac girl. I don't look like, the stereotypical makeup artists in the entertainment industry, which a majority of them are white women.
Yep.
I don't know if you could tell I'm not white, so that didn't work. But in esports, it was all about, like, back in the day especially, it was all about the veterans, but like the sketchy veterans too. There's a difference. There's like good old boys, and then there's a sketchy ones that would be like, oh yeah, I mean, I pay like $100 for a makeup artist for my daughter's ballet recital. Can't you just do it for that? Well, last time I checked, Tasteless isn't your 6-year-old daughter's, ballerina. So, no, that's not the way that works. It went back to figuring out my self-worth. And especially because I came from traditional entertainment and then transitioned into esports, I already had to have a lot of those hard-hitting conversations. So I was able to navigate it within esports much easier. In the film industry, the way I would do it, because I think that's where I would have to tell you my experience with it. It was, okay, you want a zombie film, and you want me to do 5 zombies, and you want to only pay me $200? One zombie is worth $500. So by this note, let's discuss what type of zombies you want. So then I would break it down and be like, okay, do you want like, face painted, like I like turtle zombie, or do you want like George Romero zombie, or do you want like Walking Dead zombie? Because let me tell you right now, Walking Dead zombie, you clearly can't afford, so just don't even look at that. No, don't look at it. Just look that way. We're gonna push that away. Okay, George Romero, this is a little bit more within your realm. You want, Dawn of the Dead zombie. Okay. No, not the new one. Don't think about the new one. Don't think about the new one. We're gonna look at the George Romero one. Thank you. Okay. And then like I would have to really focus people on, this is what you're gonna pay for.
Okay.
This is what you want. There's a large gap between the two, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to close that gap? You have to invest the money. And I kind of do the same thing within esports. I'm like, oh, okay, so you want me to work a 16-hour day constantly doing touch-ups on 10 people? Let me break it down. For me to work on one person's face is approximately this much money. This is how much out of my makeup kit that I'm putting onto a person's face. So every face approximately costs me $30. You want me to work on 4 people? How much does that add up to? Now add in the fact that California state laws mean that I have to work for a minimum wage of this, and that. And then like I get very technical on the person.
Right.
Know your labor laws. Know what you're worth. And then break it down like that. If you're the type of person like me that has to bring tools to a set or to a job, at the cost of that. Your laptop wasn't free. You had to pay. The razor blade is like what, $2,500? Deduct that by how many jobs you want to work to pay that sucker off. And add that to your fee. How much was your backpack? How much are your notebooks? How much are your pens? These are all little things that people don't think about that are a part of your job and a part of like your tools.
Your
You
tools, yeah.
You may not be a makeup artist where you're lugging in like 5 bags of hair and makeup gear. You might be an observer. You still have a mouse pad, you still have a mouse, you still have a keyboard, you still have a computer. Add those things up. You know, when you go home, you still have to think about how much time you invested into learning this game. How many hours you spent playing the game so that you know this game, because let's be real, we count those separately. There is a time I spent researching the game versus the time I've spent playing the game. And both of those things give you experience and knowledge on it. If you're a technical director, how much did you spend in school? If you're a social media manager, how much was your camera? How much was your iPad, your Apple Watch? All these little things are your tools to do your job.
Yeah.
Count that towards your rate. Count that towards your worth, because it is a part of your job. It's what you do. Why shouldn't you get paid for bringing it to work? Now, is it going to be something like me where I'm charging $50 just to bring in my supplies? Probably not. It might be like $10, $15, $20. Hell, it might be even more than my 50. Add it to your rate. Include it in there so that people know that you are a professional and that is something that you take seriously and that you do actually like invest into it. If you invest into yourself and you invest into your job, then they should definitely help you pay that off if they want you to do it.
I think I just want to add on something, because I think that was a fantastic answer. But also remember, if you're going to be a professional, audience out there, if you're listening, make sure you are a professional too. So don't add all these things and then don't show up or show up late or something like that. Those things count against you. So I know I just know someone in our show like message like, all right, I'm going to charge for my laptop full prices. One person like, oh, no, hold on.
No, you're not going to charge that one job the $25 play. No.
I want to make sure we clarify that. Someone's like, oh my God, Inside the Scene show said Rosa said this. I'm like, listen.
No, yeah. Don't go hold on. Can we put up a warning, a little banner that comes across my face and just be like, do not listen to the rantings of this mad woman. Like, she has some points, but do not take it for value. We are not responsible for the things that Rosa says. Like, let's get a full scroll going.
Well, I in the post-production.
Yeah.
No, absolutely no. I think what you said is they're tools. Just like if you're a construction worker or any kind of job that you do, your tools are part of the job you need to do. Yeah. And you got to count them into your rate. You just have to make sure as well you do the job that you said you're going to do. I know many people in esports who they just
Okay, fake it till you make it only goes so far, right? Like fake it till you make it should just it's like if you're saying like, yeah, I could totally do that, but you're going to take the time to research and learn how you're going to do that. Fake it till you make it. If you say, yeah, I could totally do that, and it's so completely out of the scope of what you know how to do, don't fake it till you make it, because you're not going to make it. And then you look silly.
Then you just look silly.
Yeah. No.
I would like to know, actually, can you talk about the time you almost got caught on camera?
This has happened to me a total of 2 times. Because I pride myself on being a ninja, right? I'm like, oh, catch me, I'm too quick. But it was, I'm trying to remember what game it was. I think it might have been a StarCraft show. No, it was Heroes of the Storm. We're at ESL, and I was doing touch-ups on, I know Gilly was at the desk. I don't remember who else was there, but I know Gilly for sure was at the desk. And I'm doing her touch-ups, and then I don't know what happened, but they're like, we're coming back. And I was like, what? And I dropped. I just like dropped. And I'm just sitting there while they're like killing time, like behind the desk. And then like
you're underneath the desk, like underneath the
I'm not like underneath, but I'm like, if this is where they sit, there's always a little bit of extra space for the desk. So I ducked there. And like they're trying not to laugh at me. And they're just like, yeah, so blah blah blah. They go about the show because the show is live. We must go on, and I'm just sitting there and I'm looking at the PA like, help me, and the chip operator, the camera op, just like moves the camera angle just slightly off frame, just gently, glides it over, and the PA's like, and like book it out of there. And I was like, oh my God, that has never happened to me before in my life. And this was like years into like being in esports, right? And I was like, how did that happen to me? The second time was StarCraft. We're at BlizzCon. Same situation. I lost track of time, or this one was my fault. I had completely lost track of time. So I'm trying to run up and I'm trying to do a last minute touch up. And then they kind of changed up the format where it went to desk. It went to it went to analyst desk and then casters. Where normally it shoots back to the casters first and then it goes over to the desk.
Right.
And then I look up and I remember doing a touch up and I look up and I see that the game ended. And it's literally at that moment where it's like starting to come over to like they're panning over to the desk and I dive, like I just slide off the desk. Like I just slide off the desk. I was like, I'm just gonna chill here for a minute. And like the talent totally thought nothing was wrong. They're like, oh yeah, Rosa did her touch-ups, whatever. They did not process the fact that I actually like tried diving off stage. It was no, I don't like it. I do not like it. There's nothing I hate more than like being caught
on camera. Yeah.
It's so I never have been caught. Thank you, God. I've never been caught.
You've been saved every time.
Just like barely dodging it. Barely dodging it.
You mentioned actually, working in film and now you're in esports. So when did you realize the differences between working in film production and an esports production? What was like that moment?
Immediate. Walking on set. It's day and night. It's day and night. On a traditional film set. Back again, I haven't worked on a film set in 7 years, more than that. 2013. It's excuse me. I had a little like hiccup burp thing happen. Excuse me. It's everyone thinks they're the most important job
on film.
On film. Oh yeah. On film set, it's like I'm the director. This is my vision. The director of photography is like, I'm the DP. I am the one that creates the vision. The grips. Oh, they can't do anything unless I bring in the stands. The actors, I am the vision. Like, everyone has like their self-importance, and they're like, I'm the greatest thing in the world. And I started turning into that. I was like, yeah, I'm the makeup artist. Like, if I'm not here, then the talent can't go on set. If the talent can't go on set, then that means that like, the show can't continue. Like it's toxic. It is so effing toxic. On esports, you walk on set and everyone's like, hey man, how you doing? Like, oh, hey, what's up? Cool shirt, nice hair. Everyone's like always everyone's so sweet and loving towards each other. And I remember the first job that I got, my business partner in on esports, I was like, look, I have to warn you. She's like, oh God, what? And I was like, everyone is the nicest goddamn person you'll ever work with, and it's kind of freaky. It kind of feels like Stepford Wives, like it's weird. And she's like, okay. She works like Mortal Kombat show, and then calls me afterwards. She's like, oh my God, everyone is so nice. It's so weird. And I'm like, right, weird. And like we were like having this like awkward conversation about how weird it is that the people you work with are nice. Who would have known that that's a conversation you would have?
Tony, do you think that that's like a forbidden or forgotten art or a lost art in the workplace? The idea of being nice to each other. Yeah, and it's along with more traditional entertainment industry professionals coming into esports, I'm starting to see the transition of that not being the norm anymore. Yeah. And I hate it. I hate it with all of my life. And that's why I constantly say, hey, respect the industry. Like, even if this isn't your norm. There's a show that I worked with that we took the talent and the makeup crew would always go to Guildhall in Burbank. I don't know if you know of that bar, but it's like a super dope bar in Burbank. I went there. I've been there. Yeah, love it. You can order the MamaRosa there. But that's how much I went there. They named a drink after me and after similar. Yeah. So we take some of the crew with us. I was like, hey, yeah, we're gonna go to Guildhall, guys. Like, join us. And I will keep this one vague as well because of course we could point out. But the talent is talking about the game that we just saw. I added in something as well, and the camera person looked at me, he's like, wow, like you guys talk like this outside of work too? Yes. Oh, like, so do they play like real sports here? And I was like, oh, you mean traditional sports? Is that what you're looking for? And she's like, yeah, like, can we get like the basketball game, like basketball's playing tonight? And I was like, we don't do sports ball. I can ask them to put on like Madden. And they're like, they're like, just like,
confused. Like you don't have to be esports, right? You don't have to be ride or die esports. You do have to have common decency.
You have to know where you are. Like you just have to be aware.
Read the room. Read the room.
Read the room. Read the room.
So far.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was the kind of stuff that we've been dealing with a lot lately.
Our industry's changing. Like it's unfortunate, and that's just like, you know, from all levels, from top to bottom to middle, like all sorts of jobs, because it is more Main Street. So you have non-esports money coming in, you know.
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's a double-edged sword. It's beautiful that we are becoming more mainstream. It's beautiful that like it's growing. The growth is great. Developers and studios no longer trusting their veterans to do their damn job is what bothers me. So we're getting rid of all the good people that we've had that have helped build esports to what it is today, to bring in some Fox Sports person, to bring in some, and this is no specific beef towards anyone. I just named
absolutely
the first thing off the top of my head. I'm like some Sports Center like person. Like, how do you think that the person that appeals to the middle-aged man in middle America watching the Cowboys is going to also appeal to your much younger demographic? You call that a disconnect? Like what? No.
And I'm going to be careful because I might get it. Because I can rant like nobody's business. So I'm going to be careful because I have huge pains against this idea of how our industry is losing the visions of those who had the vision and replacing it with the vision of traditional. And I
think both can get married. I think both can get married. If you want to bring in, like, you know, Sports Nation, Sports Center, Fox News, Fox Sports, whatever ESPN thing, right? If you want to bring in that traditional person, bring in an esports person
and to partner them up
together.
Have
them work together, and then you will get something that will also appeal to dad and to son.
Yeah. Absolutely, because sports center people have been doing it for a long time. They have a lot to teach us. Absolutely, 100%. They have a lot to teach us. But our demo, we know our demo. We know the demo, and we got to keep it. Well, in my opinion, we need to make sure it doesn't betray that what the demo expects of us in the industry.
Absolutely. It's been tricky. Because like there are things from traditional entertainment industry that I would love to see in esports. Okay. There are several things I can go on. For example, like the talent. I would like to see the talent have the respect that traditional entertainment industry treats their talent. The way esports treats esports hosts and talent isn't as great as they do in traditional entertainment. And like if somebody makes a request or somebody goes, "Hey, I can't work like this," that person is dubbed a diva. Like that's bullshit. This person isn't being a diva. This person just has standards for the way they want to work. Like that's not a bad thing at all. So to be like, hey, random esports commentator number 3, you want to make sure there's hot water here? Oh, that's cute. Like no, don't treat them like that. Just be like, yes, Mr. Esports commentator number 3, we'll make sure that we have warm water for you. Because guess what? You're gonna be talking all goddamn night carrying our damn show. You should have warm water for your fucking sports. Like. It's little things like that I want to see transition from traditional entertainment to esports. We can't take their executives and not want to deal with any of the other rules that they have. Like you get one or the other, you know?
Yeah, it's one of the things there's so many lessons to be learned, and like I feel like, you know, 2013, 2020 now, you've built up a ton of a resume of things that you've learned throughout it. And this idea, in 2019, you did a geek panel, fashion panel, Comic-Con. Yeah. And I would like you to talk about that experience.
Ooh.
I'd like you to talk about Imposter Syndrome, the idea.
Oh, God.
So
I still have I'm going to pull it out because I don't really get to brag about this. And I don't really get to show it. But y'all's a panelist at Comic-Con. What up? What up? Yeah. And I did this here too, but I didn't get this fancy one because it was digital. But sorry, I don't get to ever do that. So I do it.
This is the show to do it. This is the show to do it. Do it up, because we're going to celebrate you.
Is so real in my life. Comic-Con, like that's not like PAX. PAX is our world. You know, PAX is our world. E3 is our world. Comic-Con is like the epicenter of nerd culture. I have dreamed about going to Comic-Con, Like in my entire life, I had never just made it to Comic-Con just to go. Because 1, I was never able to afford it. 2, it was always sold out. 3, I somehow was always working during that weekend. But to be told, hey, we want you to be a guest here. And I was like, what? Really? Me? Why? Why? Oh, okay. I'll go talk about what I do. And then I'm sitting there on a panel with like her universe. Oh God, what's the name of her? I don't want to Rock Love Jewelry or something like that. I don't want to butcher it, but she does like such beautiful, beautiful jewelry. That's all like nerd culture. Sitting on a panel with like, the Gearbox guy that handles all their like e-commerce side of it. I'm just sitting there like, why am I on a panel with you guys? Like, I don't remotely belong here. And it was weird because a lot of people were there specifically with fashion in mind, and yeah, makeup artistry can go into that a little bit, but it's not really what I do. It'd be different if I was like maybe a stylist on a show, or if I made the clothes that they were wearing. I don't know, but it felt strange sitting there talking about being a makeup artist in the geek world, and then realizing that, oh, I'm kind of like would be the go-to person to talk about these things because nobody else really does exist in our realm that does it. Oh, this is weird. This is very weird. And like it didn't help that I had just gotten my gallbladder removed the week before.
Oh my.
So I had my gallbladder removed. I'm in a freaking wheelchair because I still was struggling like walking. So my business partner's like pushing me through on a wheelchair, like through the con, and she's like getting tired. I'm like, I'm sorry, I love you. She's like, we're gonna get you to this damn panel. And like at the panel, having to be like super cool and just like walk up there like normal, like in excruciating pain, and then sit there and be like, I'm totally fine. This is fine. I'm fine. But it was an experience. It was a total experience, and it felt weird too because I was coming from a very different perspective. They're coming from a more corporate perspective, whereas I'm coming from a like, please don't sleep with the talent. Which it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy when you just like throw it out of context like that. But I've had assistants.
It's a real thing. If you're listening to anybody, make sure that's a real thing. It gets you a lot of trouble in esports to sleep with the people you work with, especially the talent.
Yeah. And guess what? You're gonna tell that one person, and not that this is okay. Not that any of this is okay, by the way. You're a grown ass. If you're an adult, they're a consenting adult. Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care. But you're not going to be my assistant fucking doing it. Literally. Fucking do it. Okay, sorry. I'm going to stop doing that now. But, like, just be professional.
Absolutely.
It's like, it's such a silly thing, but, like, it was so funny because I'm like, and I, like, after the panel, I come down, I look at my business partner, and I was like, probably a bit much. She was like, nope. Don't sleep with the goddamn talent. I'm like, you're right.
I think it's professional. Just like being professional. I think that all encompasses the idea of being professional in general. Like,
And the reason why I say it as well, specifically as a makeup artist, is because we are very close to the talent. We end up in a very intimate situation,
right.
Where sitting here doing so-and-so's makeup, I'm like, oh my God, your skin looks so good today. As I'm like, touching the skin. Your hair feels great as I'm like spreading product through it. It from within seconds of meeting someone, I go from, hey, how are you? To, hey, oh yeah, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, you're gorgeous. Oh, I love it. Like, it turns into a very intimate situation.
I didn't even think about it from there. Yeah, that's a very intimate space.
It's a very intimate space. It's kind of like being at like, your barber, your hairstylist. Like you're sitting in that chair and all of a sudden you're talking about all of your life's problems, all the things I know about I call them all my babies, right? All my babies in esports. It's insane. I know a lot of their very intimate lives. They're also all really good friends of mine. And I boost their ego like nobody's business. And then, I might humble them a little bit. Like, hey, remember, there's esports. You're no Brad Pitt. Chill. I play that. It's a very playful, like, banter back and forth.
Right.
But, because of that, makeup artists in traditional entertainment industry are known as the flirts or as the promiscuous ones on set. I don't want that to be the case in esports.
Got it.
And as of right now, it's controlled by me, Lorena, and Cassandra Carr over at LCS. And Cass's team runs like a tight shit. Ain't nobody playing games on her ship. by the way, total badass makeup artist. If you haven't followed her, looked into her work, she does everything LCS. Absolutely amazing artist, absolutely amazing person. But as far as like everything else in esports, though, it's me and Lorena. So Cass holds down Riot. Lorena and I handle so many other shows. So because of that, it's like we have to say these things, because today we might see StarCraft, tomorrow we might see a league show, a collegiate league show. After that, we might go to Call of Duty. After that, we might end up in Halo. We're bouncing all over the place. We cover CS:GO. We might do a one-off of Hearthstone. And as much as people want to joke about, oh, it must take a lot of makeup to make those nerds look good, we have a lot of incredibly good-looking people in our shows. Like, esports talent is
beautiful.
Chef's kit. They're beautiful, beautiful human beings.
Beautiful
I'm just sitting here going, I get to paint your faces. Y'all gorgeous. I love this.
You are, definitely. I think you sell yourself short sometimes on how really good you are. I'm just gonna say, I know about the book. The book. I know about the book.
You wait. Are you referring to my file?
Yes.
My super creepy stalker file?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the book of.
So the books are going into physical format. Let me see if I can pull it down.
Okay. Because I heard about this book and I'm like, I need to make sure on the show I get to ask you about this idea. For those of you listening, this is a book of files of all the talent that Rosa has worked on and has, I'm gonna guess, because I don't know what's in the book, but like skin tones, things that make them basically their looks, like a profile of like, this is how this person does their beard, this is how this person does their hair, this is how this person likes their eyebrows. Like, I have to know.
So the file has photos.
Oh my god!
The physical book, which is actually, this is where I get to be super bougie, is my Louis Vuitton planner, because I'm that bitch.
I love you, girl. I love you so much. I can't wait till we hang out again.
My Tiffany & Co. pen. I'm that bitch. But this is a physical book, and this is actually a planner. And in this, I will carry around these sheets. And these sheets basically have something like, skin, eyebrows, cheeks, lips, notes. So this is the file on Thorin.
Oh.
So here it's like Thorin, and it says handle and actual name. And it'll be like, okay, we like to use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD number 230 on them. And for the concealer, we use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD number 230 as well. So it doubles as his concealer and foundation. Notes that I have here on Duncan's skin is he has very sensitive skin, deals with a lot of redness. We like to use Gibbs Grooming Beard Balm and a brush. We use a green primer to help counteract the redness. For the hair, it's minimal maintenance, light brushing.
Beautiful.
So I have a file on all the talent that I've worked with. Right now, the only physicals are the ones from Flashpoint. So we only did physical ones for the talent that we worked with during Flashpoint, which is the CS:GO show that happened out of Face It Studios earlier this year. So like Potter, Makeup Forever Ultra HD to number 225. She uses HD concealer Y31. Eyeshadow.
You're like an alchemist. You're like a freaking alchemist. Like, so let me get this straight. So did you design the look and then track it, or like did you looked at them, you like analyzed them, like, you know what, we're gonna use this thing and then I'm gonna keep track of it, or did you test it? Like, I need to know, how did one design?
So there's so many levels to it, right? So there's step one. Let's say it's someone new that I'm working with. Even though it's someone that I've worked with so many times before, I'm just going to use her because it's the look that I've been tracking for the longest, probably, or the second to longest. The longest would be Zoe. But like, let's say Rachel Kirko Seltzer. She is our blonde bombshell in esports, right? She's our girl next door. So when I first started tracking Seltzer, it was going back and looking at her Frat Girl stuff. I'm looking at her streaming. So what I do is, once I hear a new name, I will go to Twitter, I'll go to Instagram, I'll follow them immediately. I will start looking at the looks that they take photos of. So if you posted a selfie from this one event, that means that you like the way your makeup looked and your hair looked at that event. So I'm going to take note of that. okay, how do you normally stream? Because that's the difference between esports and traditional entertainment industry. When I'm working with actors, I'm creating a character. When I'm working in esports, I'm working with a personality. So I need to make sure that the makeup and the hair that I do for this personality is reflective of the branding that is them.
Wow.
So I'm not going to take makeup that I would do on Anna Prosser and do it on Seltzer. Two completely different looks. Anna plays a little bit more with makeup. Seltzer likes a little bit more natural. Seltzer also likes to make sure she has the big curly hair. Anna will do braids. She'll do it half up, half down. We'll do the Ray thing. You know, you have to find out who you're working on and what they like. You have to know what their brand is, as well as the show that you're working on, and knowing how to make it look more polished. So how do I take what you do every day and make it a more polished version of that so that it's appropriate for camera? That's what we do. And that's how we navigate everyone's looks. So for our women especially, because they're the ones that are a little bit more adventurous with their looks, and let's say most of my gents are.
Guys, step up, please.
Yeah. You know, I've been telling some of you to wear guy liner. You know who you are. Do it. You know, I track that. That's my creepy file. So my creepy file is like Seltzer Frag Dolls days, like Seltzer Hearthstone BlizzCon, like Seltzer God, what haven't I worked on with Rachel? You know, even events that I don't do her makeup at, like, oh, she worked at a Twitch booth thing during PAX East. I've never been to PAX East, but I have a makeup file for that so that I can track like how her looks are evolving and what she's leaning towards and what she likes most. So that
I want to point out
file on people.
I just want to point out this is the difference between an amateur and a professional. Like this is like the level of which the detail, like this is like caster level research. Like you're like, how did this person go? Like you are a professional in every true sense of the world and an esports professional, because like that to me is a signal of it's not just doing the job, it's like doing the job really well, right?
It's the difference when you're passionate about something versus liking something.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think that's what I was trying to reach for.
Yeah, like I'm passionate about Batman. Like I know what time his parents died. Like that's how passionate I am about Batman, you know. Like Harley Quinn has been my like girl crush since the animated series, and she was created by Paul Dini. And her stats for that was she was 5'4", she weighed 115 pounds. She was a gymnastics, she was a psychiatrist. This is what she did. She's immune to most poisons because of poison ivy. Like that's, if you could be fanatic about Batman, why can't you be fanatic about what you do in life? That's the way I see it.
Oh, Mr. J.
Hi, Mr. J. Yeah, I could fucking love her. And like she's tattooed on my arm. If I tilt my camera up slightly, you'll see that she's like right there talking with Batman. She's like there's a shelf I have up here that's like basically her shrine. But you're a living passion. You're like passion incarnate. Absolutely. It is so freaking beautiful. So just getting close to our end of our show, but one thing I wanted to know is what did you take away from not getting asked to come back to the Overwatch League season 2? So there's a lot that happened there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of battles that I won't get into because I don't like speaking ill of former employers or potential future employers or anything like that.
But let's talk about maybe the lessons drawn, even.
Like, careful who you hire and trust your gut. There was the Overwatch League is such a tricky thing to talk about. More importantly, what I took away from the Overwatch League, I would say, is all the beautiful relationships I gained from it. Mm-hmm. Like I got to be so much closer with the players than I ever have before. You know, on so many shows, it was a one-off. So I only got to see the players for that one event. You know, the Overwatch League, I worked with these players for 5 weeks for 6 months straight.
Yeah.
You know, I became really close with Ruckus and AKM. I call them my esports sons. You know, we got really close with Season 1 Florida Mayhem, with Outlaws, with Fuel. We got to talk more with coaches and with org staff. We became really close with Philadelphia Fusion. We got to work more closely with talent, and I got to see, even though I always knew about what players went through just being in esports, I got to hear it firsthand from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So I think the biggest and best takeaway about it was getting to connect with the players and getting to connect with orgs and speaking more with them.
So we're coming to the end of our show, but I always like to ask my guests a final kind of question. And if you had the opportunity to send a tweet that did a push notification to every human being on this planet in 140 characters only, you have this one opportunity, one chance, you can't do it again. What would you tweet in that one tweet? And it's force push notification, so every human will have to check their phone. Do not disturb does not work. What would your tweet be?
We're sending this to everybody on Earth?
Everybody on Earth. You had an opportunity to speak to everybody on Earth in 140 characters. So they have to pay attention.
I'm trying to decide if I want to go the troll route or if I want to go the like serious route. Because the troll route wants to go Leroy just to be obnoxious. But I don't know. I actually don't know what my serious route would be. I think I would just be a troll and be like, wait, I could say one thing to everybody, and it would be like screw Trump or like Leroy Jenkins, and just like a gif of the little girl with the microphone that like looks over and her hair kind of like flies a little bit. I don't think I have a serious one for that one. I think it would just be something really dumb like that.
Absolutely, and that's fine. You have that. It's the magic wish of a tweet to everybody in the world, and that's it. You've done it.
Of course, I would hit the send button, and you know what would happen? I would think of something really profound and really deep.
It's already sent. It's already gone. It's already gone now. So absolutely, I want to thank you so much, Rosa, for sitting here and having this talk with me. It was absolutely crazy delightful. Is there anything you're working on now, or anything you want the people out there to know about? Where can they find you? Projects or anything at all?
I'm pretty easy to find on the social media. It's just at esports makeup, and then from there you can find my personal accounts and you can find my business partner's personal accounts. Twitch, we're currently streaming right now. Every Wednesday, Lorena and I, my business partner, do a Stardew Valley stream because she's not a PC gamer. She's not a gamer. So I got her into Stardew Valley, and she has like this beast of a rig, and all she's running right now is Stardew Valley. It's hilarious. But just seeing her get used to like WASD and moving around is just like comical, because like you have me and I'm just like flowing like in circles, and she's like, why? I don't get it. And I'm like, press W and D at the same time. She's like, what? Why would I? Oh my god, I'm moving diagonally. It's great. So if you want to see like a veteran gamer play with like a complete noob, and not like the negative aspect of noob, but like the reality of what like a new player. Yeah. Wednesdays, twitch.tv/esports makeup. And on Fridays, we started a show called Beat That Pixel.
Oh, I love that show.
Where we give makeup advice, skincare, and hair advice to video game characters.
I love it.
We become really obsessive with like the zombies, because we've done like a few Resident Evil ones, and we're like, ooh, Mr. Axe, he's like confident in his wrinkles.
I think I was watching you guys doing God of War. Someone from God of War, like someone had soot on his face, and you were talking about like.
There's this whole thing where we started asking game devs to create an inventory system just for the cosmetic items, like makeup wipes or wet wipes, and like sunblock and chapstick and moisturizer, because we're really sick and tired of seeing these post-apocalyptic games where everybody looks like complete garbage. Like, this is a game, it's fantasy. Please clean yourself up, man. My business partner's favorite thing to do is like dye pretty. Like, you're in a video game, the least you can do is dye pretty.
Like if I'm in The Walking Dead, I need to like at least do my brows before I go fight zombies. Like, I can't do it.
Have integrity, man. Like,
can't do it. Can't go out there with oily skin before I fight zombies. Not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen.
That's just like some of the fun things we've been working on during quarantine to keep us busy.
Absolutely. So I love it. So thank you so much again, Rosa, for coming out. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and whatever pronouns you choose to go by, for joining us here on this show of Inside the Scene. I cannot wait to see you again next time for our next show. We'll be seeing you. Bye.